let's talk about the books that I've recently read in the past week and if I recommend them. If you are new here, I'm Lady Mair Alys and I talk about sci-fi, fantasy, mainly fantasy books because The Expanse put me in a sci-fi slump. Thanks. Not in a good way. But I talk about fantasy books and scream on the internet just like a deranged person. So this week, how many books have I read? Do I recommend them? I had one DNF, and that was The Gods Below by Angie Stewart. I am a bit hit or miss with her. I loved her first book, DNF'd the book 2 in the Bone Shards War trilogy, mainly because of the main character, and I'm getting a repeat here. Like, I wanted to love it. The idea, amazing. Exactly up my street. The execution, for some reason it just dropped off. The characters were just not really there. There were a couple, but also for some reason Andrea Stewart had used romance beats and tropes very obviously in this, and it just kind of, no thanks. I didn't really, and it made it really predictable, and I'm not a romance kind of girl. I'm just not. And the book wasn't romance. Like, the most interesting thing was the one character who was going and delving in all these caves, like almost dying, to save his friend. And I didn't get enough time with him. And the big reveal about the other character, the love interest, that was so obvious. Even though I didn't even get to the point where they even became a love interest. But because she used romance beats tropes, I was like, yeah, that's obvious. Who he is, obvious from the get-go. I knew from the moment he walked on the page, I was like, bitch, I know exactly who you are. And I really did start to draw. I do think people will enjoy this. I think I will be in the minority here. I do think people are going to enjoy this. However, it wasn't for me. So, I then picked up a favourite author of mine, R.J. Barker. His Bone Ship series, his Age of Assassins series, which I ended up coincidentally reading on audio when I was new to audiobooks and listening at work, and was like loving the shit out of it. Then it's both amazing. This, far more darker, far more slower. A Sentient Forest. If you want a Sentient Forest, do go read this. Go read it because it's amazing. I love it. R.J. Barker with his books. I noticed it definitely in the Bone Ships, definitely in this. He takes time with you as a reader. He takes time, he builds the character and he builds the world slowly around you, trickling in little bits of ideas, little bits of plot points, and kind of slowly taking you on. Book 2 comes around, bam, he hits you around the head with it. And I haven't read book 2, I have an arc of book 2, and this, I know this comes out very, very soon. I do have the Broken Binding stunning edition. Let's actually reveal this in its glory. I cannot wait to see what book two looks like. I did this on audio. I'm mainly doing audio at the moment. I don't think there's only one book on here that I ended up doing. Obviously I DNF'd that Against All Gods, that was physical or digital. But there's only one other book, which was a novella of 100 pages. I ended up eyeball reading. But Gods of the Weirdwood. The magic system has such a big price. Such a big price. Like, this is not so much of a spoiler, but the magic system worked on death. To use it, you have to feed it. To feed it, you have to kill somebody. That big price. This takes me back to like Brandon Sanderson's lectures on limitations and stuff like, and this, like a character having this power but not willing to use it because he doesn't want to kill people. Well, what use he is as a magic user? It's incredible. There is a character in here and they are hard to get into. I didn't really like them to begin with. Towards the end of the book, I ended up doing it. I did end up liking them, but as I was reading it, especially second time round, I was like, you know, you were really, like, even to save your life or to save somebody else's life, you refuse to kill, to wake up the magic within you, because that's how you also wake it up. You refuse. And I'm sorry, I just can't get past that. Am I a selfish bastard? Probably the fuck I am. I just couldn't get past it, but solid fucking book. Cannot wait to dive into book 2. I just have a few other books that I am reading right now that I cannot put down in time, which brings me to my other book, Kakeyaki. I picked this up last week from the library, my first library go. It was fine. I was nervous. I asked what was probably a stupid question, but I've come to the conclusion of I'm going to ask stupid questions so I don't panic about shit. So I did, and I didn't panic, and it was great. I am 169 pages into this book. I am loving it. I thought I'd have to take this in slow, small chunks because I get pufferfish rage when it comes to feminine rage. I just do. Like Climb to Tester, love the shit out of that book. But I have to do it in small spurts because I get too angry. I get too in my emotions. I'm an emotional person. So, but with this, I'm finding it's so refreshing. Like, obviously there's Kayaki. She's married. She's a third wife of this Indian guy. And it's so refreshing to have the 2 other wives not hate her. To actually want to interact with her, to want to become friends with her, to become something like sisters. It's so refreshing. The bar shouldn't be like that. It happens all the time. Male writers and women writers do it all the time. They do not have enough women strong friendships. No matter what happens with a guy, their friendship comes first. And I love it. I'm absolutely enjoying this. I'm hoping to finish it within a week, because it's so much fun. It's also due at the library in like 3 weeks, and I know if I don't finish it now, I will never send it back. So, having so much fun, go pick this up. It's amazing. The other one that actually really surprised me is after listening to Ghost of the Weirdwood, I was a bit kind of burnt out on big books, because it is a big book and it's a slow book. So I was kind of like, I want something, you know, my brain power's now working long hours. I want something short and fun. A Cat's Guide to Bonding a Dragon was the fun I needed. It was cozy and it was entertaining, and that is exactly what I want, and I cannot say more about it. It reminds me of Miss Percy's Pocket Guide to Care of Feeding of British Dragons, because, like, it's a cat being a cat, right? The cat will mark its space. The dragon go, what the fuck are you doing? You're marking, like, stuff like that. The cat's always wanting food. That's coming into prevalence on it. It's honestly, it's just amazing. I also started and finished Glimpse of Souls, a novella by Shauna Lawless. I knew I hated Thomas. I knew, like, to my fibre of my being, I hate that character. And yet, somehow Shauna Lawless had made me hate him even more. It is a novella. You have to read it. Second of the novellas, I read them out of order. I haven't even read the other one yet. But I love being back in his world. Can't tell you much more about it because you have to read book 1 and 2 in the Gale Song series. And why have you not picked it up yet? It is one of the best series out there. I read and finished on audio Rise of the Mages by Scott Drakeford. I only found out about this because I was listening to the podcast, Publishing Radio, and I thought I'll give it a try. And it was fine. It didn't blow me away. I need to do some research to find out if it is actually YA or adult, because I was under the impression it was adult. But there is a lot of, like, YA writing, and I found the ending very, very rushed. Very rushed. Like, I was enjoying it, and then you got to this point and I was like, oh, okay, comes the ending, and then no, then the whole time I was like, when is it gonna, and the whole time it was rushed. It skipped over time, it skipped over really important character moments, and it felt like the author was trying to cram all of this stuff that he had into a word count or a page count, and that is just really sad, because I would have liked a more of a slower exploration over all of this. But there were some twists that were fun. I generally think if you have a younger audience, or you definitely like YA, you will enjoy it. I had good fun. It took me back to, like, the classical mages kind of thing, and, you know, the women in it, solid. It was good. I was always waiting for, like, somebody to, like, twist and betray them all the time, and it didn't quite happen, but maybe that's just my writer brain running away from me a little bit there. But it was fun. It was just entertaining. It did what it did. Then I started the Traitor God by Cameron Johnson. I had it in my audio. I'm having this rule at the moment of I want to finish my audio library before I download any more from my credits, because my audio library is quadruple the size of my physical library. Like, my physical library, not just my TBR. It is so big. So, to be granted, a lot of audio I've also bought trophy books for, so there is that. But I'm enjoying the Traitor God. It's entertaining for what it is. It's one of those books, and I think Cameron Johnson's like this as an author. If you want something that's just having fun, like, I don't know, Die Hard in a book that is just there just to entertain, these are the kind of books. So I'm interested because I have an arc of his latest book, the last year, that I haven't read, and I bought the Maleficent 7 because the Waterstone seller was like, it's really, really, really good. So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. So I have them on my TBR. When am I going to get to them? Fuck knows. I'm busy. I'm busy. That is what I've picked up and what I have read. I kind of recommend them all, even Against All Gods that I DNF'd, because I generally think it's a me thing, and I think other people would actually enjoy it. So take that what you will. Now, small writing update. I am this close to finishing this draft. So fucking close. It's unreal. I thought I had ages to go, but then I went back through my second draft and went, well, I need that scene, I need that scene, I need that. So I ended up counting out the word count when actually the only thing I really needed to rewrite in this draft was like the big chunk in the middle, and then finish the ending, because I never actually finished the ending because I knew I had to go back and layer some things and make it all make sense. So I'm hoping it can be done by Wednesday, which is in 2 days. And so far it's sitting on like 75,000 words. I wrote 3,000 words today. I am burnt out on it a little bit. So hopefully by Wednesday or next week or end of the week, I can send this out to alpha readers, which will be the first time I've actually got proper feedback from people I actually trust. Like, I sent a few little snippets out to other people, but they're not giving me feedback that I actually wanted. They're picking it apart rather than giving me like character and plot, which is all you want if it's like, because it's an alpha read, it's all you want on an early draft is character and plot, not line edits, which people were doing, and they just bummed me out last time. So it's gonna be the first time people are actually going to be reading my work, which will be entertaining. So I hope you enjoyed that. Continue on this journey to see if I actually can get this sent to an agent by early next year, and see if I can actually get an agent. We will see. I'm feeling optimistic, trying to get my hopes up, but I'm going to take you on this journey with me. So I hope you've had a lovely reading week. Let me know what you've read below, and if you're going to pick up anything I've recommended today, and have an absolutely fun cracking time reading.